morning, everybody. So today I'm just going to introduce our presenter today is Cyril Rayan. He is the founder, president, CEO of revolutionize, Inc. Headquartered in Silicon Valley, a leader in AI-powered security and safety solutions. The company was founded in 2007, is the provider of TipNow, a threat intelligence platform that combines the power of AI technology with anonymous communication channels and video analysis for a diverse number of environments where people gather. These range from corporations, schools, university, to entire communities. Cyril has been in the tech industry for more than 3 decades. Cyril has a unique blend of experience in conceiving and developing cloud-based I don't know how to say this, so I'm just going to SaaS products. Thank you, Cyril. Services, marketing, teaching, and nonprofits. He has traveled globally in business and nonprofit-related work. He has spoken at conferences like the Campus Safety Conference, authored white papers, and published articles in magazines. Can I get a round of applause for Cyril?
Thank you so much, Nicole. Thank you so much for being here for this presentation. It's a great honor to present at this wonderful conference. I enjoyed many of the sessions yesterday. It's a powerful conference. So today we'll be talking about preventing violence through threat intelligence. And research proves that 86% of the times, somebody knows about a potential violent incident. And 68% of the times, 2 or more people know about a potential violent incident. If that is the case, then we must try to prevent violence in our communities, in our campuses. So I was a professor at Bethany University for several years, teaching leadership and management courses. And I'm also an author. I've authored 2 books, working on another one right now. And Virginia Tech shootings happened. How many remember the Virginia Tech shootings? 32 people killed. And I was a professor at Bethany, and I was thinking, what if this happens in my class? You know, when it comes so close to you, when I was a professor, I was thinking it could happen in my class, and it could be my students and me who could be in danger. You know, that's what triggered a thought process in my heart to see if we can solve this problem of violence on campuses. So that was the seed thought for the company that I founded. And I was also seeing, it was funny how the idea came to me, because the iPhones were launched and my fellow professors were complaining about $3,000 cell phone bills. And maybe some of you can relate. My kids are teenagers now, thankfully, you know, not at that time. And that's what gave me the idea. People were using texting more than ever before. And I said, can we use texting to report suspicious activity anonymously to prevent violence? So that was the seed thought for the company. And we are on a mission. It's not just a company to develop products, to sell, to make money. There is a mission behind revolutionize. And the name revolutionize is the combination of words resilience and intelligence. Because you know the problem, right? We cannot find domain names easily for your business. So you have to innovate, not only in the product, but innovate in the names, as you know already. So today the objectives for this presentation are just to share about what we are doing currently with TipNow and how these solutions have impacted the communities, the campuses, the schools and colleges, and look at some industry data. And you all are more familiar with the mining and construction industry. I'm a newbie. I'm just trying to research and find things. But I believe these kind of technologies can be translated and used in your industry as well. So that's what we are going to talk about. and we can keep it interactive. I would say even during the presentation, if you have a question, please share, because sometimes you forget the questions at the end. And when the Q&A time comes, it's like, I had 2 questions and I forgot what it was, So if you have a question, just raise your hand. Let's keep it interactive, because these problems need to be solved, and these problems are very much there in our environments, unfortunately. So started in 2007, as was mentioned by Nicole, and we have had a great impact so far. We have prevented 4 active shooters that we know of. I always say, since we are in the prevention business, we don't know how many we have prevented, and that's a problem to measure and measure metrics and things like that. But still, we know of 4 events that we have prevented. More than 10,000 plus depressed students counseled, and there is a spelling mistake there. I'm sorry about that. I can see a spelling mistake from a mile away. And anyway, and it was one of on our team members, so he'll receive some counseling when I go back. And we'll keep it funny, One of my friends said, you should have been a stand-up comedian, and I don't know about that. We'll see. More than 100 plus suicides prevented. And I think we see a really increase in suicides among the young people, and we must prevent suicides. A $3 million drug bust, more than 1.5 million tips received. So we have had a great impact on our communities, and I really think we are just beginning. We're just starting to see the impact of what these technologies can do. So typically, if you really think about violence, it doesn't happen overnight. There is always a process of time, which is the good news, because if there is a process of time between idea and action, that means we can possibly prevent it. And we have done it. It's not just theory, because this concept, though when it started was a theory, we have proven that there is time between idea and action. Obviously, it could begin with a low risk, aggressive, hostile, or intimidating behavior, or somebody who's a loner, even like Cho and so many others. And as we know, mental health is a big issue on campuses and even otherwise, and other areas as well. And then moderate risk is more like communicating a threat to do harm, and that can be a place where if we find out about some aggressive behavior, then maybe they could be counseled, or maybe we can prevent the violent incident. And of course, if somebody is suicidal and somebody buys a weapon, like what happens during Virginia Tech, and all these were separate incidents that were known to different people. If you read the Virginia Tech report, it was the concept of connect the dots that was the problem, because some professors knew, one of the professors knew that he was writing violent essays, and another person knew that he was stalking some people, and somebody else knew that he had bought weapons. And so, but nobody was connecting the dots, and I'm sure you've heard about this kind of a phrase, connect the dots. And I believe using a tool of human threat intelligence, where people are reporting suspicious activity, we can prevent violence, and we must prevent violence. And again, the whole philosophy of how do we really think about prevention, because prevention is better than cure, and we all know that. But not everybody is in that mindset, where instead of just reacting to a threat of violence, or instead of just predicting toxic situations with early intervention, we need to think about prevention, creating a safe and healthy work environment. And I think you all are experts at that. And that's why I'm thinking, TipNow can be translated, this kind of technologies for anonymous reporting can be translated from the campus situation to other industries. And we have been very successful in the school and college campuses. We, in fact, even have some law enforcement agencies using the technology. And technologies are available, and we need to apply it. and even AI, and I'll talk about some of the AI technologies that we are developing and also have expertise in, where we could help to develop new AI-based solutions for the mining and construction industry. And that's how we have to think, because there is a lot of problems to solve, without a doubt. I mentioned about this research data, and I always think about this. If people know about a potential violent incident, then we need to find out and we must prevent it. So human threat intelligence is what we talked about, and how does it work, you may ask. So that's a good question. And this could be other products as well. There are other products in the industry, but we are definitely ahead of the game. We started before anyone else in the industry. So we have an app called TipNow Pro, and it could just be a texting-based reporting as well, where people can report suspicious activity using SMS, voice, video, live stream. So we even have a live streaming capability to report things that are going on. And this can be reported in 100+ languages. And instantaneously, it's going to translate it into English and disseminate it to predefined administrators on the system, and also to Security Operations Center. However, every organization handles it. I know for schools, typically you don't have a Security Operations Center, but what we do is the safety committee actually receives the information in schools. And again, in the mining and construction industry, you can do it the way you would like and how the process works in your industry. And we will provide you the communication platform. And the idea here is thinking about human threat intelligence. People know, even as we saw. And if they know, and if they are given an anonymous communication system, they will report it. And it's proven by research and also proven by real deployments with real customers and real people. And I think we should leverage that to keep everyone safe. And we didn't stop at just doing a communication platform. We realized that there are so many angles this can be used. So for example, even sending mass notifications to people. I'm sure you have used mass notification systems to send information in case of a crisis or in case of an event that happens. Obviously, we cannot prevent everything. I hope we could, but things happen. And in that case, we need a technology to inform everyone about what's happening and what to do, if you will. So we have integrated with this system, with this technology, a mass notification system. Also, emergency plans. Typically, emergency plans in the corporate world or in even schools and colleges, they are sitting in a folder in the emergency director's office. And that doesn't help, because if we can have anytime, anywhere access to emergency plans, then people, first of all, you need to train on those, and then also have access to it, and including a checklist, because people don't remember even after training, and especially when a crisis happens, we lose really track of what's happening. I mean, you panic, we all know that. And when a crisis happens, if there is a plan accessible, especially with a checklist, then it's easier to actually follow it. And we are using AI extensively. The first AI system I developed was in 1992. Was an expert system that I developed in my master's program. So I've been understanding AI, and it has been around for a long time. And ChatGPT has just come along now, and really everyone is talking about it. But AI, as you know, has been around for decades. And the generative AI is what is taking off now. So we have used AI, natural language processing, to really look at the tips that are coming in and tag a threat level to it. We can actually use a Stanford library with like 300,000 words. We analyze the tip word by word, and we declare a threat tagging instantaneously. So as soon as the tip comes in, the AI technology with natural language processing will analyze it and declare a threat level on it and disseminate that information to all the administrators. You will see it on your SMS on the phone, where you can say this is high threat level, medium threat level, low threat level instantaneously, because we understand that people are busy. The safety committee in the school they are probably also teaching, and they are maybe in the administrative staff. They are busy. So they need to know if it is a high threat level, they need to drop everything and respond to what they are doing. We are also talking to a new concept called dads in school. I don't know if you've heard about that. It's a concept of presence of men during breaks in schools, and that is shown to now reduce violence. It's an interesting idea. I know the founder of Dads in School. He's in Nevada, and I don't know if you've heard about it. Nevada Clark County School District is facing a huge challenge in violence and things like that. So my friend, Pastor Troy Martinez, actually has started this dads in school concept, the idea of having presence of dads in schools to reduce violence. And it's very interesting, and we are talking to how we could partner with that. And we are passionate about preventing violence. And of course, we understand technology. I have been in Silicon Valley since 1993, and it's basically a great environment to be in and to solve real problems. Because there is other problems we can solve. Once I was in an investor gathering, and this was like in 2012. There were like 150 investors there. I was presenting TipNow, and many of them came to me and said, "Great job, please carry on." I said, "Where is the check?" And the thing is, this might not be the most attractive for investors, I was telling them, but I'm going to continue on the mission, and here we are, Anyway, so the threat level tagging concept this is how it looks like. There is a color coded, red, green, yellow, high, medium, low kind of threat levels. And as soon as the tip comes in, that's how the portal looks like. As soon as information comes in, it can tag the threat levels. And now we are working on a brand new concept called connect the dots. And what is that? So we'll apply AI to understand where the particular campus is or particular organization is. Seeing all the data that has come in. So let's say somebody has said Joe Blow has been depressed on the first day. And after 30 days, let's say somebody says Joe Blow has threatened someone. Now there is an escalation, and the connect the dots module will actually identify the escalation using AI. So the idea is understanding entirely what's happening and connecting the dots to alert the administrators to go and have a conversation with Joe Blow. And it could be an event happening at a particular address, or it could be something related to a particular person. And AI will actually analyze it and escalate it for safety. So we talked about human threat intelligence. Any questions so far? Any questions? Yeah, please go ahead. Yeah. Is that in their words, or do you have like a drop-down menu where you look at that drop-down? So on the app, there is a subject, which is kind of a pull down, but then it's a free flow text. It's a free flow text, but the AI can analyze the free flow text using natural language processing and come up with a threat level. Yeah, that's a great question. Yeah. No, it's a great question. Our experience has been, in a college environment, in a city environment, we have not seen false reports, but in a high school environment, we have. And the false reports were like somebody stole my lunch. It's and then the beauty is there is a two-way communication possible. So using chat, we can communicate back and forth. Though it's anonymous, we can still communicate. And the way we have handled that is we always say, hey, this is not a play tool. And the administrators do that. The principal or whoever is on the administrators list, the safety committee, they communicate back and forth. And then that kind of dies down. So it's a great question. Any other questions? Yeah.
So it sounds to me like this is primarily focused on text messaging, where tips are texted in. Can other data points be factored in, like grades, attendance, interactions with other students, things like that? Are there other data points that could be factored in to help to determine particular schools or areas in the school where students may be congregating who have issues or problems?
It's a great question. So not only text, we also have ability on the app to attach videos, to do live streaming and things like that. It's a great point what you're bringing up, Robert, because those are connected. And we have expertise in AI now to do any project that is needed. Basically, for example, we are now working on a project for another business for doing social media analysis, to personalize communication. So we can bring in those pieces of data, assuming the school district is willing to share it. Then we can analyze the data and connect the dots. So I think it will come in the connect the dots module, where we can say for the connect the dots, we will also have other grades data or other kind of data that are available to analyze and connect the dots. So a great question. We can talk further on this. I think AI has so much potential for us to keep our organization safe, and we should apply it. It's a great idea. Any other questions? Yeah.
I've just been thinking through this issue a little bit as we've talked. People learn about people's, perpetrators' intentions to do some harm. And are they not reporting because they don't know where to report to, or because they don't think what they know is valuable? And if it's the second, how do we promote them to actually write something down in the app?
Yeah, I think it's all about raising awareness. To say that even a simple message that somebody in the parking lot looks suspicious, those kind of information can go a long way. And it's all about raising awareness for this. So basically using, let's say, first day of school or first day of the college, during orientation, share about it, download the app, have some events around it. And that's how the adoption grows. And some don't want to download the app, so the texting piece comes into the picture. Hey, if you don't want to download the app, just use this texting number to send information. And what we have seen is people, not everybody is going to use it. I think that's the reality of it. And the Z-Gen, they think nothing can happen to them. And which is a good thing. I like their courage and how they see the world. But as we raise awareness, maybe an article about how violence was prevented, or maybe how a suicide was prevented, article in the local school newspaper or some kind of a newsletter, those really help the adoption. That's what we have experienced over the years. So we help with graphics for posters, things like that for the schools. Also encourage the schools to put it on their websites, have events. I'm happy to go and speak as well in some cases. I have a book on leadership that I wrote in 2007. That's my favorite topic, and my favorite word is vision. That's why the book title is Moving from Vision to Reality. So I think the students love to hear about leadership. Create some events like that, encourage adoption, and tell them that, hey, any simple piece of information can go a long way. And I'll give you an example. At College of the Sequoias in Visalia, California, there was a tip that came in which said, seems like somebody has a gun in their backpack. They were not sure, but they saw something protruding from the backpack, and that information came through. And we'll see a video on that. ABC News did a video on that. This is like 10 plus years back, kind of a dated video, but still effective. And so the police chief saw the text message, and he responded back saying, hey, where is this person? In the quad came the response. He ran to the quad, again checked, what is he wearing? And then they had like 4 or 5 iterations of conversation like that. And then sure enough, he nabbed that person, and there was a gun in the backpack. And obviously, I understand some states allow, carrying a weapon, but obviously in California, it's not. But that gun violence was prevented. That's one of the ones that we had prevented. So yeah, encouraging people to report things. And it's a process. It's a process of time. Continue to talk about it. Continue to have articles on it. The amazing part is research proves that people know about these things. And if it is an anonymous platform and they don't want to get involved. So it's the best way to actually have a platform available for, I would say, every organization should have a platform that people don't want to get involved in, but they will report it. And that helps us to prevent violence. Any other questions? Wonderful. Awesome. Let's talk about AI threat intelligence. I think with AI being really talked about, how do we apply AI to really benefit our organizations, to protect our employees, protect the people, protect the organization, and we should do it. So we have partnered with an amazing partner. This is one of the best video analytics solutions in the world. And I've been thinking about it for years to integrate the human threat intelligence with AI threat intelligence. It just makes sense because, first of all, human threat intelligence is so important, as we all know. And once we have that data, now how can we enhance threat intelligence even more by getting AI threat intelligence? And what does that mean? And of course, there are so many ways we can apply AI. This is just one particular way that I'm talking about here is computer vision. And this technology has been around for many years, but now it has become really advanced. And the machine can learn about guns, for example, different types of guns and rifles and knives, and then detect it. When the video software looks at the video, it can say that's a gun, that's a particular person, that's a BMW, and it can identify objects. So 30 plus analytics available, and we are continuing to develop. Recently another requirement came in where they said, hey, can you detect sharks for the oceans? And we see those reports quite a lot, actually. And the idea there is, use video analytics to detect sharks, put the video camera on the drone, connect it to the cloud, and analyze that, detect the shark, and immediately send SMS notifications to prevent the shark attack. And so we are working on it as we speak. So there are so many different applications, and we can use it. These technologies have now matured. The false positives are minimal and can be used. So we can go with one or thousands of cameras. It's a very mature technology, this particular technology that we have. And we have and this is through our partner, one of the best technologies in the world for video analytics, more than 600 deployments in 30 plus nations to do video analytics. And we continue to do the development work as well on top of it. And the shark detection is one of them. And somebody was recently talking about the forest fires as well. There's so much can be done. So we'll get there. And of course, brands like Tesla, ESPN, Rand Whitney are using this technology as we speak. So the way it works is basically we are partnered with Oracle. That's the OCI cloud server. And the IP cameras are connected to the cloud through the RTSP streams. And then the software is on the cloud, analyzes the video streams that are coming in to detect weapons, to detect intrusions, to detect a crowd, to detect an object that is somebody has fallen down, and so many different applications. Recently, I was talking to the sheriff's department at Santa Clara County, and they were saying, can you detect fights? It's like fights break out in prisons, and I never thought about that. And I mean, probably you know that. I didn't know that. And I was thinking, okay, yeah, we can detect fights, but we'll have to work on it. We might need some data, show us how the fights begin, and we can figure it out. And so my point is, there is so many different applications in different contexts. In the mining industry, in the construction industry, there might be different issues that you might want to solve. So we can talk about it, and we'll go and develop it, because I'm passionate about even the shark detection, because if we can save one life, it's valuable, So that's how the architecture is in terms of the cloud. And we can also put a server on site. So, some people say, well, we don't want our data on the cloud. And I understand that. In some cases, that might be really sensitive data. You might not want your data on the cloud. But that is the easiest way to do it, because you don't need IT resources. Because I know that every organization has challenges in hiring and keeping IT resources. So if you don't want IT to be involved, or you don't want additional burden for your IT team, then it's best to actually use the cloud. And we are partnered with Oracle for that. And in fact, Oracle wants to do more with us, possibly a joint white paper and other things as we move forward. We are still in conversations on that. And yeah, any questions so far? Okay, good. That means I'm communicating clearly, or I'm not communicating at all. I'm just kidding. I know. Let's keep it humorous, because it's a long presentation. I don't want to be a sage on the stage kind of a person. I want to keep it interactive. Feel free to raise your hand and say, hey, how does this work? Or if you have additional comments as well, I want to learn as well. So recognizing weapons, and it takes time for the AI system to learn different types of weapons and gathering all that data. And once it learns it, then it can detect it. That's how AI works. It's all about data, as you know. Everything is about data. If we want to detect sharks, then we need to have a lot of data on sharks, And if we want to detect weapons, we need to have a lot of data on weapons. And that's what we have done. We can recognize handguns and rifles in real time. As soon as it recognizes it, it will send a notification saying there is a weapon recognized at this particular, from this particular camera. Aggression detection, fist fights, there is so much can be done. And we can also have alerts to lock doors, alarm, an audio alarm, a lockdown order, whatever the process is that you have in your organization. There is a weapons detection video. I think we should watch it. I'm just going to play it here. Let's see. marking the region of interest. Then choosing the object types. It's pretty extensive. As you can see, there are so many different object types there. Cameras, you can put that camera in, and then it detects handguns and rifles. That's it. That's the notifications that go out. So the concept is pretty simple. You set up the camera, import that camera into the system, see the region of interest, and then it will generate the alerts. Close this. Wonderful. So we can also do license plate recognition. And these technologies have been around for a while, where if there is a watch list, let's say there is Joe Blow. I think seems like we are hitting on Joe Blow a lot here. He's not going to be happy. So Joe Blow is not allowed on campus because of certain reasons, and he drives a car ABC 123, and you can put a watch list saying these are the license plates are not allowed on campus. These are troublemakers. And as soon as that license plate is seen at the entrance, you'll get an SMS notification. And even 30 seconds can matter, as you know. 30 seconds can make a difference if you are notified that there is a troublemaker on campus. And of course, you can have customized license plates for including all the employees who are allowed to park. And when a vehicle is not on the list, it will send a notification. You can also do some parking management, if you will. And we are actually talking to a university locally about parking management with this. So many things can be done. Crowding detection, maybe it's not a problem on this campus. Beautiful. I mean, it was really amazing to just drive in and, or Uber in, I should say. Amazing campus, a great theater to be presenting in. It's like universities like UC Berkeley that are very close to where I am. They have demonstrations probably every week. I don't think this technology is needed on this campus to detect crowds or when people are trying to gather to demonstrate on something. There is always something going on in campuses like UC Berkeley. It's unfortunate, but that's the reality. So detecting a crowd can be done with computer vision and AI. Object detection, leaving a bag in a lobby area. You don't want an unattended bag in a lobby area. It could be anything. It could be an explosive, as you know. So detecting that and reporting back on it instantaneously. Or somebody has fallen down in a lab. You want to know. You know how that goes. Yesterday, I met with a student here who was doing postdoc. I said, even doc is a big deal for me. Postdoc is like after PhD. It's amazing. And those are the ones who could actually be in the lab past midnight and fallen down, Jokes apart, but we need to help the researchers who can just get engrossed in their research. It's interesting. Video search. This is a big problem for many of the people I talk to across industries, where they have multiple NVRs, different systems, camera systems, and then searching that video becomes a big problem. I don't know how many had this problem of there was an event and then you're looking for video and it took 5 hours to find it. Has anyone gone through that problem? Yeah, I see a few hands and heads nodding here. We can do it in seconds with this. And this is the best video search I have seen, where you can connect all the NVRs and do the video search. You can say, I'm looking for a black BMW, and boom, it will spit it out. I'm looking for somebody wearing a black hoodie. It will spit it out instantaneously in 2 seconds. Or I'm looking to even track the person who came into the campus. I want to know where all did he go. Track his path. If there are, obviously, campuses have multiple cameras, so it can actually track the path of a person across the campus or of a car. So it's pretty effective video search. Just for this, the technology is valuable. Just the video search capability. And of course, to add to it, all the other things. So these are some of the customers that are using this technology. And now we have licensed it, put it on our own cloud, and we are ready to give it to everyone. Think about technologies that Tesla and Ford and JFK Airport and ESPN and so many others are using it. And this technology also has won a lot of awards. Even recently, it won the Semiconductor Industry Association Award, ISC West, there in 2020, 2021. Also, I think 22 and 23, it won the ISC West Best Product Award in this category. In 21 and 22, award from IDC, which is a market research firm, to be a major player. So the thing is, these kind of technologies are here to stay, and we need to apply it for our own organizations. So what are we doing next? The next step, what we are doing is integrating video analytics with the human threat intelligence. That means we are integrating AI threat intelligence and human threat intelligence. And that will take it to a whole new level, because now if the report doesn't come through a person, we can possibly detect it using computer vision and AI. And so that we are working on as we speak to integrate these two technologies. Bottom line is, you might ask, so what are the results? As I said, we have prevented 4 active shooters so far. I don't have the 4th one here, which is the Duxbury Public Schools in Massachusetts. We have prevented one at Gunn High School. Don't ask me why the name of the school is Gunn High School. Jokes apart, the violence was prevented, which is good. College of the Sequoias in Visalia, California, and then Pixley Middle School in Central California, and a $3 million drug bust. And these are just barely scratching the surface. We have not even done enough research to find out what else has been prevented. These we know because of the media coming out with stories, And then hundreds of thousands of tips. In fact, it's 1.5 million tips in the system. Thousands of students, bullying has been prevented, thousands and thousands of arrests, tens of thousands of students counseled because of mental health issues. As I said, hundreds of suicides prevented. So we have had a great impact, and we are on our mission, and we'll continue. I think let's watch this video.
A South Valley college is using students and their favorite way of communicating to improve safety on campus. Police at College of the Sequoias in Visalia are now receiving crime tips by text message. Action News South Valley reporter Jessica Paris is live in Visalia with how the system protects students' privacy and what police say it's already working. Jessica.
That's right. Administrators here at COS say people are texting now more than ever before. And with that in mind, they launched a brand new crime tip line that allows students to text message and still remain anonymous. Just 2 weeks into starting the new TipNow text messaging crime tip line, campus police at College of the Sequoias learned just how valuable the system is.
Most recently, on our campus, we received a text, anonymous text from our TipNow system that someone on campus had a gun. The texter provided us with a description of the subject, told us he was wearing a white t-shirt, black pants.
After several text messages back and forth, officers arrested 21-year-old student David Lee Garcia on felony weapons charges. It turns out Garcia was also on felony probation for a previous burglary conviction. Chief Robert Masterson says the student who tipped off police was probably right near the suspect and was still able to remain completely anonymous.
It's also a way for people to do it quietly or anonymously in a group. They can sit there and text a message to us, and nobody knows what they're doing, whereas if they're speaking on a phone, someone can overhear their conversation.
The system protects identities by acting as a middleman between the message creator and police. Students text the tip to a local number, which then gets processed by Resilligence, the company operating the TipNow system.
It goes to the company, it's stored in the company's database, they change it into an anonymous assigned number. It's usually an alpha and then 4 digits, and then it's forwarded to us, and that's all we know the tipster by is this 5-digit number.
Many students we talked to say this new system makes them feel safer on campus.
This is just an anonymous way for students to, they don't have to go to the no dean or nothing or identify themselves. They just go text a simple text, and it's all anonymous.
Anything that puts your safety in your palm of your hand is going to be a good idea.
And students can also call the tip line and leave a voicemail. As for that student who was charged and arrested for bringing a gun on campus, he has been released on bail, but is not allowed back on campus until those charges have been cleared. Live in Visalia, Jessica Paris, ABC 30 Action News.
Thanks.
And this is kind of a dated video. That's why you see that the interface looks very old. Obviously, it's a brand new interface now. But I always use this video in my presentations because it really shares the story very effectively. So some industry data, and I think you all know this better than I do. Workplace violence in construction industry is there, and 50% of workers who experience workplace bullying will quit their job. So obviously there is so many issues, and I'll not go through the slide in detail here, but workplace violence is alive and well, unfortunately, but there can be things that we can do. And yesterday, I think it was Dave was sharing about the ethics in industrial hygiene, and I just had a quick conversation with him saying, hey, we should have an ethics hotline. And I think those have been around for many decades, and using even texting to keep it simple. There can be hotlines, and that's another topic for another day, I think. But relevant industry challenges in construction, definitely theft is one of the highest ones. And again, how many are from the construction industry here? Anybody from the construction? Okay. And how about mining? Okay, there are a couple from mining. How about education? I know Robert is education. How about the other industries? What are the industries you represent? Can you? Transportation. Can you shout out the industry? Power, okay. Healthcare. Okay, wonderful. Carlos, good to see you. Wonderful. Yeah. So I'm trying this for the first time. It's called something called Menti. I saw it in a presentation yesterday. And you can take this QR code, and I'm trying it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. Let's see. Industry issues that can be reported using human threat intelligence. From your perspective, what issues could be reported in your own industry? Let's see if it works. If it works, great. And there can be a good conversation around it. You can use that QR code, and you will see, and just use one word, and we'll see a word cloud here. And I hope it works. Are you able to get to it? Okay, good. But I didn't see the response. How many have already responded? Okay, here we go. Mitigation. Awesome. I love it. Let's wait for a few more. Aggression, emergencies, man down, yeah. Violence, yes, definitely. Line worker, man down, okay. Yeah, makes sense. Gun, yeah. License plate. It's pretty interesting tool, huh? I saw this yesterday in the afternoon. I said I should try it. It works pretty well. Threat. Danger, yeah. Awesome. Did yours come up? Safety? Whose didn't come up? Yeah, I think everyone's. Awesome. Well, this experiment succeeded, which is good. Let's keep going here. Remote and difficult work locations. I think mining and construction, these are tough industries in terms of work locations, remote, limited access. I don't know even, is there enough internet availability in the mine sites typically or no? Depends. Okay. Okay, I was thinking about that. Yeah, I would love to visit a mine at some point. And of course, construction sites can be remote, not having enough access to those sites. So those are difficult locations. We need to figure out how to apply internet-based AI in those locations. And but when it's available, we should be using it. Workplace safety risks, and I'm not going to spend a lot of time on it. You are the experts. Hazardous environments, and of course, human error in repetitive tasks. Yesterday, somebody was talking about how a particular mine, they didn't name the mine, which is good. They saw that there was a safety issue, and they just didn't do anything about it. And I think it's always the ethics dilemma, in terms of how do we respond to the situation. Of course, we want production, but then if there is a safety issue, then that's first things first. And so that was an interesting conversation yesterday in the afternoon. And lack of proper training, how much time you spend on training. Yesterday, somebody was talking about how even the sampling of silica and mining issues, and they were saying a consultant came in and charged them $7,000 for the day. That is crazy. Anyway, that's a separate topic for another day, but I understand there is safety risks and they need to be taken seriously. Unfortunately, 42 fatalities, and you might have better numbers. This is what we researched in the mining industry in 2023. And of course, yesterday I also heard about the challenges in the churn. People come, they are trained, and then there is a churn, they leave. And again, you have to train them. And those challenges are real. 2.9 million non-fatal workplace injuries in 2022 in the construction industry. I mean, those are some big numbers. And I think we have to think about how we can reduce them. I'm sure there are initiatives around that. And I just want to paint a picture of the future of safety tech briefly. And I think these technologies are now available and we can actually develop it together. Would love to partner with you to develop some of these technologies. We don't have it. I think PPE we already have, but other technologies that I'm going to share, automated alerts and actions. It's like detecting unsafe behavior, detecting if they are not wearing their PPE. That will be so useful. Instantaneous alerts, hey, Joe Blow again, Joe Blow is not wearing his PPE, you want to know that and immediately take action. Those things are possible with video analytics, and assuming internet is working there and you are having the cameras there. Then real-time hazard detection and predictive analytics, analyzing the entire work environment, abnormal noise levels or unsafe proximity between the workers and the machinery, and worker behavior, looking at is there risks, is there patterns that are happening, or even looking at previous accidents, looking at the accidents and seeing a pattern and trying to identify that pattern. It's all about data, as I said, in AI, looking at what has happened in the past, understanding those patterns in the data, and then say, we will make sure these things don't happen again. Once the system learns that these things should not happen, then it can detect it when it sees it and report it back. And I think we should have these kind of systems in place in manufacturing and construction and mining across the board, risk scoring, even looking at different ways people work and actions and what can cause a slip and fall, and really detecting safety issues and even scoring certain regions, different regions in the manufacturing plant. Maybe region A is more risk prone because there are 25 incidents that were reported from there, and what really happened, and analyzing that and then saying these are the things we could do to improve the safety in that region. Even automating incident reporting, like we talked about, automated AI threat intelligence coming back in addition to human threat intelligence, and people talking about, hey, Joe Blow again never wears his helmets, at the workplace, or getting that data and then instructing them and having those training, and better on that in terms of having consistent trainings and getting feedback. Also apply technology even in training, which can be very interesting as well. Look at what has happened in the past, and in fact, there was the company right here. I forget the name of the company. They have a booth here, and they were using AI for training. How many saw that? You should check it out. It's pretty interesting because we should apply AI, and it will actually customize the training based on what and the questions you ask. And using generative AI, that's possible. Data-driven safety insights. If you have safety data from 50 years, we can take that data and get you an amazing solution for safety. And let's talk about it, because we have expertise in AI. We have some of the best people in the world that we have access to. For example, the CTO of God TV is a good friend of mine, and he's a guru in AI. And even I am a guru, but I consider him my guru, And it's interesting, because, and we need passion, because that's what I bring into the table. Passion for preventing violence, passion for making our communities safer. That's my heart. And of course, understanding technology is one part, but if you have passion, then you apply technology to develop solutions for that. Enhanced worker training. See, that's you should check it out if you have not seen it. We can use AI to customize training for each one. If it's a new hire or somebody who's experienced, they also need to have a review of the training. And you can track that training, even create a virtual environment where they can even take the next steps based on the training, and you can evaluate what they are doing even before they go to the site. That can be easy, because if the mistake happens on site, it could be a life lost, or it could be a person that gets injured and things like that. So training using safety tech and AI, we can also help with training there. Okay, so this is can be solved with AI threat intelligence. Maybe that's the same. Probably didn't work right, but let's keep moving here. So yeah, we have talked about human threat intelligence, and we have talked about AI threat intelligence, and to prevent violence, to keep everyone safe, if you will. So we cannot guarantee that crisis won't happen. Crisis can happen anytime, as we all know. And I want to just give a brief few slides on how to manage a crisis. And then I think we are wrapping it up. There might be a couple of other, we talk about emergency plans. I think we do have time. It's 30 more minutes, right? So any questions so far before we dive into crisis management? So we have looked at threat intelligence right now so far, human threat intelligence and AI threat intelligence, and looking at different technologies. And also we looked at the possibilities for safety, enhancing safety using AI tech. So far so good? Yeah. Yeah, let me explain. So obviously, again, it's all data. So at the end of the day, so using cameras which are connected to the cloud, which have the computer vision technology to analyze the video. So let's say somebody is bringing in a weapon, then that video analytics software can analyze the video and say, hey, this is a rifle, this is a gun, this is a knife, send an alert, and we can, so it's basically the system that already has learned about detecting objects. That's why cameras come in. So it's called video analytics and computer vision, where the system has already learned to detect these objects, a backpack that is left behind, a person who has fallen, or an animal or a car. So those are object detection problems. So that is the data that the system has already learned, and now it's applying computer vision, saying this is this person, or this is even facial recognition for that matter, that can recognize Joe Blow again, And so again, in terms of data, so let's say you have safety data for your organization for the last 30 years, AI can be used to analyze it and summarize it. For example, we are working on a project to summarize like 6.5 hour school board meetings for an organization that said, hey, we are reviewing all school board meetings and we are putting people to listen to the 6.5 hour school board meetings. So what I said is, okay, we will apply AI, we transcribe the whole thing, and within a minute, we summarize the meeting for them, within a minute, the entire 6.5 hour video. So that's again another example of AI application. I hope that answered the question. Yeah.
Not exactly.
Okay, please dive in. We
So
have time. So
I thought you had implied that using the video cameras, you could predict someone's behavior to conduct an unsafe act.
okay, so the idea there is, again, it's about data. So let's say in your data, it says that if a person is like 5 inches away from this machine, I'm just giving an example, not knowing, then there is a possibility of injury. I'm just giving an example. And let's say there were 5 different incidents that happened in the last 30 years, and it happened because this person was too close to the machinery. I'm just giving an example. So now, if we know that data, and there is a camera, we can actually detect that this guy is getting too close. That's what I'm talking about. So data is king, obviously. And if there is data that you have about safety issues and the incidents, it's gold, basically. The data is gold that can be used to output saying, hey, these are the types of incidents that have happened in the mine or in the construction. And then say, how do we prevent it? What training needs to be done? And we can actually do it. And we can actually train the AI model to detect that, to prevent it. Yeah? Okay. Thank you. I think I like the question. Thank you so much. Okay, now let's talk about crisis. I know we don't like to talk about crisis, but it's good to be prepared. Crisis happens, and I have a couple of friends who are experts in crisis management. They have been doing crisis management in various contexts. And in fact, we did a couple of webinars on crisis management last year. And what they were saying is every organization will face a crisis at least every 4 to 5 years. And it is their research. And it's interesting. The worst crisis you will see is the one that happens to you. We all read about hurricanes, and even recently, I have a friend living in Florida. He is okay. I was in touch with him, saying, are things okay? He was in Orlando, so I think it was not that bad, but still glad that it became a Category 3 from Category 5. That would have been disastrous with 150 miles per hour plus winds. So anyway, the worst crisis is when it happens to you. It did impact me because my friend was there in the hurricane, but still, it was not the worst crisis for me. You see what I'm saying? And he's okay. His home was okay. But then the worst crisis is the crisis that happens to us, our family, our organization. How do we respond then? In a crisis, there are 5 common failures, and loss of control. I mean, that's what a crisis is. You don't know what to do, right? You have a sense of a loss of control. And the Tylenol case, I don't know if you heard about the Tylenol case in the early 80s, where I think it was cyanide that got into some of the Tylenol bottles. I mean, can you believe that? But they handled it so well. They pulled out all the Tylenol from the entire nation. That was one classic case for crisis management, how to do it well. And many have not done it well. And let's not even talk about who did not do it well. I like to highlight the ones that have done well, because I might get an email from them tomorrow. Don't want to do that. Not identifying and monitoring all threats and risks. Even in a crisis, we might not really, or even before, we have to think about these things before the crisis, and not identifying all the risks. That happens. And then not developing a crisis communication plan. How are we going to communicate with the people in a crisis? Do you have a plan? What are we going to say? Not conducting exercises. It's like, hey, well, crisis happens every 4 to 5 years. We'll see when it happens. No, that's a problem. Not conducting exercises is a problem. It's a common failure. Not training employees at work and at home. Sometimes we forget. And there was a classic case that we talked about in one of the webinars, that there was this company, a packaging, not a packaging company, but a shipping company, shipping packages to people, whatever that is called. It's like a FedEx, a smaller FedEx, if you will, in Florida during a hurricane. It was a nice, strong building. So they said, the building is strong, we are fine. So their plan was just shut the offices, we all go home, come back after the hurricane. And what happened is the homes were destroyed, and they never thought about their employees' homes not being available, and now they cannot show up at work. And their customers were complaining, well, we have not received the packages, because they never thought about even the employees being in trouble and that they might not show up for work. Interesting, something to think about. We have to think 360-degree thought process there as to what could go wrong. And one of the thoughts is having a command center and a response team for crisis response. And we should define it much before, and we should do some training on it and do some table exercises on it. And we have some amazing experts on the team who can do the table exercises if you really need it. So having the response team and the command center, quickly set up the command center. We should be able to do it on Zoom these days, right? And this meeting is being live streamed on Zoom. And we don't need to have a command center just on site, if you will, because they might not be able to get to the site if it's an emergency. Having a Zoom, but then determine the roles up front. Who is going to manage the command center? Typically, it will not be the CEO, in the command center, because then everybody is looking to him or her for decision. It should be somebody else who understands how to manage a crisis. The right personnel needs to be there. Provide the right resources, prioritize response. So that's what the command center's job is. The crisis manager and then the response teams are separate. They are actually on the field doing the action, clearing the roads or whatever that is. And having a clear communication back and forth in a crisis, it's much needed. And the crisis response timeline, as my friend says, he used to be a consultant to the government on crisis response. He used to be a colonel before in his career. And he always says, crisis doesn't come 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. It's never a 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. crisis. It happens, it can last 72 hours, it can last more or less, and you should be prepared, prepared to gather as for crisis response, have the response teams already determined, and then updates happen regularly. And of course, a lot of people botch up the updates and they go to the press first. And those are big mistakes because and the press will ask for information, or the press will press for more information. But we should really be measured in what the response is. First things first, it's not a good idea to go to the press first. Though first take care of the big things, the big rocks, if you will, and then move forward. And the term used in crisis response is common operating picture. We need to know, and I know maybe I'm speaking to the choir here, but I get excited about the whole idea of common operating picture because we can apply technology to come up with a common operating picture as to what's happening and what is needed, who's responding, who is taking care of this, who's responsible for a particular thing, and create a dashboard like this. Think about having a dashboard which is telling us these are the live streams that have come in from the crisis area, and we know that there are 2 people trapped, and we know that there is a fire in this building. And if we have information, it will be huge. And then the command center can take appropriate decisions. Who are at risk? 5 people are missing. 1240 people are marked safe. 1200 notifications sent. A dashboard like this, and we are developing our product to go into a dashboard like this for crisis communications. We are not there yet, but I'm just painting a picture of what we are going to do. Having a mass notification system to send information, also to receive information through TipNow, and then paint a dashboard for crisis communications platform. And basically some of the, we also have an app which can send the notifications, the admin app, as we call it. And even during a crisis, people can report information and we can paint a picture for that. Even the live streaming capability, it's pretty interesting. So the common operating picture dashboard is pretty important here. In fact, during Hurricane Sandy, even TipNow was used. One particular student needed insulin, and she needed ice for her insulin. And of course, power was down, and but texting works. The beauty is texting works even in low bandwidth. And of course, sometimes texting also doesn't work, and we need to be prepared for that. But the good news is it worked in this case, and we were able to prevent a crisis for this particular student. And I think the mentee thing didn't work for the rest, but at least worked for one. I was mentored by, as I am speaking here, by mentee. Anyway, one last thing. I know you have 10 more minutes. Any questions so far? You're good? Okay. One last thing I'll mention is the whole idea of having emergency plans on the app. And we have integrated it already. We don't think much about emergency plans until the crisis happens, because it's sitting in a folder somewhere and people cannot find the right file, because everybody has different files. And to avoid that problem, have consistent anytime, anywhere access on the same app. You can just see if there is a fire, if there is an earthquake, if there is a hurricane, there will be a checklist. These are the 5 things you do, because as we know, during a crisis, people are not able to think clearly. And emergency plans on the app, and wherever your locations are, you can have plans for each of the locations: evacuation, medical, earthquake, bomb threat, workplace violence. In fact, recently, California has passed the SB 553 law for the workplace violence plans to be available for every organization. That is huge. And so you have the plan and also the checklist. The evacuation checklist, these are the 5 things you do. Having that And we are done, but of course, we'll take questions, and you can scan that QR code to connect with us on TipNow. That's my cell phone number if you need to reach me. That's my email. Uh, Appreciate the opportunity to be speaking. And Nicole, thank you so much. But of course, let's go for any questions before we wrap it up. And maybe I can give you 5 minutes of your time back. So any questions? Wonderful. Yeah.
Is there any area that you don't think we should get AI integrated into? That sounds weird, because it looks like an enhancement feature for most industries.
Yeah.
Is there anywhere you like want to keep it out of, like a danger or risk?
For AI?
Yeah.
That's a very good question, actually. See, I think so much can happen with AI, and we don't even know what we don't know. We don't know what we don't know. That's the reality of it. And people. Let me respond with a very interesting ad that I saw not too long ago. This was a chocolate company that did this ad, and the scene is this guy goes to the library and he picks up a book on accounting, and then there is a video playing there. AI can do that. Don't study accounting. And then he goes, picks up a book on computer science, learning Python, and then the video plays. AI can do that. Don't worry about that one. And then he says, okay, let me do law. He picks up a book on law, and then the video plays. AI can do that. Don't worry about that. And then the ad comes to the office. Everybody's relaxing, the, the foot on the table and eating the chocolate. Relax and have a chocolate. And I'll not mention the name of the company, but so the thing is, the reality is, I believe the jobs are going to be retooled. It's definitely a moment like the Industrial Revolution. It's that kind of moment we are living in right now, where we have to retool ourselves. We need to learn prompt engineering. We all need to get into AI, whatever our profession is, whether we are in safety or security or operations, because AI should be able to do many things. And so I was talking to my CTO friend just last week. He was showing me a tool to develop software using a chat. Believe it or not, you can just tell it, please develop UI for the video analytics solution. Push a button. In 2 minutes, I had the UI. Believe it or not. It's today, right now. So I'm telling our own team, you should be learning not only UI, AI, and enhance your skill set, to do things quicker. Use AI to help you. So anyway, my point is there should be some regulation on AI. I think it's needed, but the government is kind of behind. We need some experts who will be there to guide them, because we don't want robots to come against humanity, and that's a little far away. You won't believe, I saw a video recently. I think it was the former CEO of Google. I'll not mention the name, but you can figure it out. And he was saying, 80% of the jobs might go away. But I don't believe that. My take on it is our jobs will be different. Our jobs will be different. We'll be applying AI in every aspect of our jobs to enhance. Even today, I think we can use ChatGPT to do research, to enhance what we are saying. In fact, my son uses ChatGPT better than I do. He's in college, just second year. But bottom line is, I really think AI is a good technology to help us. And that's the way we have to look at it. But we need regulation, definitely, because there is the bottom line is there is evil in the world. We are talking about violence here, So using AI to do fake videos and elections are coming up. We already saw some people using AI for doing some false. I don't know if you saw it, but AI can be applied for good and evil, like any other technology. But I really believe there should be strong regulation. We need to connect with our congressmen in DC. In fact, recently I was in DC. We hosted a meeting actually at the Cannon House office building. We had a couple of congressmen come in for the meeting. I think we need to really build a relationship, build a bridge there, because we have some good people there, but they might not be aware of these technologies, and we need to be educating them. Of course, some of them are really good. But bottom line is, in my view, AI will help humanity, and we need to learn. We all need to have the learning mindset and do our best to make our world a better place. And it has that potential. We saw so many applications today, and there's so many more applications as well. Great question. I think we can keep talking. I'll share my card with you so we can continue the conversation. Any other questions? Wonderful. Awesome. Let's give a hand to AI. Not me. Let's give a hand to the technology and how we can use technology to make the world a better place. Thank you so much, Nicole. Appreciate you introducing, and thank you for the opportunity. Have a blessed morning.